All right, thank you. This afternoon, we are back to the John Mayaki show, your favorite show. If you are there watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, we want to welcome you. Today, we're considering the emerging political reality come 2023. A lot of things are happening in the APC, in the Labour Party, in the PDP. People are already organizing rallies. A lot of things are happening across the state. Women are mobilizing. A lot of persons are mobilizing. We want to see what is the reality. Will this vote translate? Will these rallies translate to votes, or simply people who don't have voters' cards trying to show muscles? And we want to see. Today, we're going to have someone in the studio who is an advocate of the South-South presidency, Southwest presidency, Southern presidency, whatever you call it, Southern presidency. Today, we have Prince Kassim Afegbua on the John Mayaki show. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're sincerely welcome. It's always a delight having you on the John Mayaki show. It's always a delight. Okay. Are you not worried? Recently, we see a lot of organic people trying to rally around the Labour Party candidate and all of that. That is part of South-South presidency you're looking for, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I'm not against an OBI presidency. It's a Southerner. Yeah. I have always advocated that for 2023, yes, it should be the turn of the South. Any Southerner who is contesting is going to enjoy my support. But of course, I will pitch my tent with one. Okay. And I have done that by saying I will support a TINUBU presidency. I have openly declared my support for a TINUBU presidency based on my own experience in politics, based on my understanding of the issues in the polity. I have engaged with some people. They have called me all kinds of names, but again, I have an inalienable right as a citizen of this country of voting age to pitch my tent with a candidate of my own desire. My position is born out of the fact that after 8 years of the presidency from the Northern Protectorate, so to speak, because Nigeria is historically woven together, Northern and Southern Protectorate. After 8 years of presidency in the Northern Protectorate, it should be the turn of the Southern Protectorate. And so...
Across party line? Is it across party line or...
It doesn't matter what party you belong to.
No, APC is saying we are taking it to the South. PDP is saying we are taking it to the North.
No, PDP's own position was born out of injustice, lack of fairness and equity. That's why you see the crisis in PDP will consume it. And I'm happy that crisis is still festering. Because you cannot build something on nothing. And you cannot also try to sweep everything under the carpet and think that people will just sit down and be watching you. PDP has a provision in its own constitution that talks about zoning, realizing the disparities in the country, realizing Nigerian, plural status. So it had to be the turn of north, south, north, south. You can choose from anywhere when it comes to your turn. But to allow a northern candidate to contest in 2019 in PDP without the southerner contesting, and now saying that it should be the north again, the chairman the north, the campaign DG north, spokesman north, the candidate north, all north. There's no balance of power. So whether you like it or not, PDP will continue to dig itself into a grave of problems and crises.
Are you one of those people sponsoring the crisis in the PDP?
PDP crisis is not to be sponsored by anybody. PDP crisis is self-made. They are the one who created it, because when you plant injustice, you will reap injustice. They say you cannot plant cassava and reap yam. You cannot plant coconut and reap pawpaw. So it is what you plant that you get. So PDP is reaping what it has planted as a function of injustice, within the party for not respecting the provisions of its constitution.
We had a guest here who said the APC had Buhari for 8 years now running. The PDP had Obasanjo in the democratic dispensation, had Obasanjo, from Obasanjo to Yar'Adua, from Yar'Adua to Jonathan and all of those. Each party decide where to pick candidate from. And not
very, very shameful analysis. Shameful. I'm ashamed by whoever that will have.
No, we had the consultant to ATIKU, Don Pedro Obaseki, who did the documentary.
I am shameful.
Have you seen the Don Pedro documentary?
I am ashamed that someone with such intellectuality could condescend to that level of making very, how would I call it, dubious arithmetics of the power equation within the PDP as a political party. See, let me tell you, Nigeria is heterogeneous. Nigeria is made up of North and South. Yeah. Nigeria, when you are president, they call you President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yeah. They don't call you President of the All Progressive Congress or President of the People's Democratic Party. No. You are President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federation. So your party is just a vehicle to pursue your aspiration. Once you win, you are now the president of every Nigerian, both those who voted for you and those who didn't vote for you. So when people are making those kind of very dubious conclusions and trying to draw deductions from that, I question their intellectuality. And it's quite unfortunate. If you mention Don Pedro Obaseki, I'll be shocked. Because Don Pedro, for example, has been the one championing Midwestern agitation. And he championed Midwestern agitation on the basis that it was the only region that was recognized by the 1963 Constitution of the country that conducted a referendum. So if you are championing that, and at the time of political balancing, political expediency and all of that, you are now pitching your tent because of your own pecuniary interest. You pitching your tent with another northern candidate when he should be coming to the south. Then I will need to question his person.
He's not just saying a northern candidate. He's saying northeast. Now he's saying that if you check from the military era or from the various geopolitical zones of the country, it is the southeast, the northeast, and that is the Peter Obi angle and the ATIKU's angle. They have not had presidency, both from the military era and the democratic dispensation. And so that is why...
How many years have we put into democracy? Do you decide for military where the president should come from? I said these are lazy scholarship. Very lazy. They are not deep thinking. Do you decide for a man who plotted a coup to become president? Do you decide for them where the president should come from? They took a risk and they became president. I didn't go to jail on the basis of because you are from the northeast that you come and preside over us as the president of a military coup.
That's fair.
No, it's ridiculous. Then this democracy is just 23, 24 years old. Barely 23 years old, yeah. And you want the whole thing to go in circles almost immediately? No. You must balance the equation between north and south, and so that when it comes to the north, the northerner can decide where it will go there. If it comes to the south can decide, oh, let's go to southeast. They didn't do that. They are the same characters of persons who are churning out all manners of dubious arithmetics to skew the whole arrangement. How do you explain it? If by 2023 ATIKU will not become president, if he didn't win, for example, so 2027 it should be the turn of the North again to produce candidate for PDP. Is that what he's saying, or what? Is it until they win that before you start reading that this zoning has to be respected? In 2018, every aspirant of the PDP were from the North. Every aspirant. Now we're in 2022 again, you still give to the North. The DJ of the campaign, the North. The chairman of the party, North. Meanwhile, the party, PDP, has stronger following in the South. 9 governors against 5. So what are you talking about? But I like the crisis. I must tell you, I'm in love with the crisis in PDP.
Assuming they settle.
No, because I told them, ab initio before I took my exit. I said, if they took the presidency to the North again against the normative order of rotation, that I, Kassim Afegbua, I only have 1 vote. I will leave the party honorably. I have done that. so they can swallow their problem and their crisis. It doesn't matter. I've had people calling me, oh, why are you fighting ATIKU? Why do you see if you become president tomorrow? It does not matter. My views are already documented in history for researchers to pick from, because in a country as plural as Nigeria, you must balance the algorithms of power. You must balance the equation. It is one thing for you to be president, it's another thing for you to have a stable polity that will propel you to deliver on your electoral promises. If there are crises here and there in the country, like the current APC government has been facing, you have IPOB agitations in the southeast, you have banditry, you have insurgency and all of that. You can't walk. You can't sit down to work and deliver on electoral promises. And that is what has impacted on the APC government. I have been one of the strongest critics of APC. Either you like it or not. Morning, afternoon, evening, I've been writing.
What party do you belong to now?
I don't belong to any party. I'm not in any party, and I don't intend to belong to any party. But I'm a supporter of Southern Presidency, and I'm supporting TINUBU as a candidate from the South. You are not supporting the APC, you are supporting the candidate. Of course, I'm not an APC member.
My recent guest, Don Pedro, also said that he got information that the candidate of the APC was in the hospital in the UK, and that when he got the information, he got the code of the area, the postcode, and he investigated, he sent someone there, and they discovered he was entered into the hospital. And when he also left there, he got information. You were in the UK recently. You were hosting Nigerians in the UK, mobilizing Nigerians in the UK recently, about 2 weeks ago. What happened? Did you see? What happened? Tell us. You should know.
You know why I'm laughing? No. You see, Nigerians are very interesting people. That's why even when you are sad, all you just need to do is to think about some issues happening in the polity. You find some happiness, some kind of comic relief. I think Don Pedro is just an actor who wants to please his paymasters. Otherwise, you can't tell me a profession that talks about privacy of the patient will enter into an hospital, and you send somebody there, he checked the postcode and he went there, and he saw that he was entered into. Who is it talking to? Fools? Or what? A country as civilized, developed as UK, you come and say you want to see the entry of a patient. If it were to be the truth. It's very ridiculous. Some of these people should stop exposing their ignorance of deliberate foolishness. It is unheard of. See, I just came back from the UK 2 days ago. Yeah. Just 2 days ago. I spent about 19 days. Yeah. And I had opportunity to interact with quite a number of Nigerians. Okay. I've also was also a guest of a program like this in the UK, the Frank Bello show. And I tried to tell them, some of the issues that agitate my mind as a Nigerian, and why I'm supporting a TINUBU presidency, for example. And some of those callers and people who were asking questions were telling me, why not OBI? And I answered them, why not ATIKU? Why not TINUBU? Why not TINUBU? When you have democracy, is a game of options. In this case, we have 3 dominant candidates. You have ATIKU, you have OBI, you have TINUBU. I'm not going to vote for 3 people. I've already taken out ATIKU out of it because I've even left this party. You have OBI and TINUBU. I'll have to look, given my own cognition, who between these two will suit my own whims in terms of my experiences with their capacity to deliver on electoral promises and their previous antecedents. I need to look at that. And I told the young man, I said, see, come. You can say anything about TINUBU. Even as we speak, I have not seen any of those guys who have the capacity that a TINUBU has. And I said this with all due sense of responsibility. I've had interactions with TINUBU. I've kept appointments at 3 a.m. when I should be sleeping in my home. The man they say is not well, he's keeping an appointment for 3 a.m. He's giving an appointment for 4 a.m. That's the man that is ill. So, and I told myself, I asked him one day, I said, why do you have to keep so late and all that? You need to sleep at this age so that you can refresh waking up. He said, no. You only have 24 hours of the day. You need to see people, you need to consult with people, you need to share experiences. You need to consult, you know. So, if a man who is ill sleeps at 4 a.m. and the one who is supposedly well goes to bed by 10, 11 o'clock, who should I support? I want a man who is awake when the country is sleeping. TINUBU is always awake when the country is sleeping. That's the kind of man I want. I don't want those who go to bed by 11, you can't talk to them again. Incidentally, I have relationship with all of these candidates. Peter OBI, I was spokesman to them in 2019. ATIKU, the same thing. There are people who have a sense of entitlement. People who are proud in their own right. They feel that they've gotten what others don't have. So I have a different orientation when I'm analyzing, candidates, psychoanalyzing them, and even getting to know some of the intricacies that factorize their own life. So when you see a Don Pedro coming to a program and shouting that it was transforming, TINUBU will be around either today, Thursday, or tomorrow, this weekend. By Monday, the APC is starting his own campaign, and he will be around. What will he now say? Is it a crime for you to travel to UK to go and when I travel to UK, did they know what I want to do? If I've gone to check my health, is it a crime since I can afford it? A man who wants to govern the country must do well. If he becomes president, fine. He may have opportunity to build our health institution.
Two questions in one.
Yes.
Two questions in one. People say, oh, we say Lagos is an epicenter, is an example of what we want Nigeria to be. Why can't it be an hospital that can take care of whatever issues a Nigerian will need to have? One.
They won't let him rest. It is not bad that the hospitals that don't exist.
It is not that he went to the hospital in the UK.
No.
It is because he went there to rest.
Yes, of course. That's just the truth.
Okay.
You see, the point is this. Let us even give that, operate at that level of, okay, he went to hospital. If TINUBU is in Lagos, in an hospital, that hospital will not be at rest. You know this. The crowd that will be flooding there, they won't even allow the doctors to settle down to work. There are hospitals there. When Osibanjo went to Lagos to do this, people were thronging there. So you need to know that this is a political season, and because people will be aware that he's in one hospital in Lagos, they will be worried. They want to see. But in this case, the man did not go to any hospital in UK. I can say that for a fact.
Then the other question is this. When he was in the country, Lagos Chambers of Commerce had a program and he was invited. NBA, he was invited. The peace signing accord, he was invited. He wasn't available in all of it. Nigerians are asking, is he going to be an absentee president? Just like the present president, people complain that the present president is an absentee president who travels abroad for medicals.
You see, those are very pedestrian, questions that one can use to assess the capacity or readiness of a man that wants to govern Nigeria. And why do I say this? The NBA conference is once in a year. They do their conference once in a year when they want to change leadership and all of that. Or perhaps when they have issues to discuss with respect to the judiciary and or contemporary issues. Did he send someone there? Yes, he sent someone there. You see, the man cannot be in all the places all the time. That is why they said presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate. Because the Constitution realizes that there are occasions where the president will not be available. The VP will take over the responsibility to represent him. Did the VP discharge his responsibility as delegated to him by his presidential candidate? He did so well. He spoke so well. Even though they tried to trivialize it by his outfit, which to me I found very ridiculous. But of course, this is the age of social media. All manners of things, get out there. But the message he passed out, nobody interrogated that message. Now, Lagos Chambers of Commerce. Is that going to be the only event they will do for a campaign that will last 6 months? No. So does that mean Tinubu will not have opportunity to represent or present himself? All of these guys who are talking, you need to listen to Tinubu. I hope people know that this guy is a solid brain. I've interacted with him. I've listened to his diction. I've listened to him speak extemporaneously. And I can conclude that this is a sound mind. And talking about hospital, this, that, I am not Tinubu's personal physician. I'm not his doctor. Every growing man at middle age, at old age, you must have, as a matter of requirement, a physician who takes care of you. Because you can declare that you are fit. In 1 second you are gone. That is left for God. The man who died at the Buka Hut, the owner, one of the part owner of the Buka Hut, they say he slumped. They saw him walk and he slumped, and that was the end of life.
Young man.
Young man. So you don't conclude by saying when a man goes to see his doctor, for example, or he goes to see his physician, then you come. There are people who travel with their physicians all about. Is ATIKU Abubakar well? Why does he go to Dubai all the time? After 3 days in Nigeria, he go and spend 1 week in Dubai. What is the Don Pedro talking about? We have had occasion when I was saying PDP that a meeting will be set. Before the day of the meeting, they will say the man has gone to Germany for medical checkup or for medical attention. So what are we talking about? So I'm not going to be bogged down by that. I'm going to be looking and interrogating all of these candidates on the basis of their capacity to rally around people to form a good team that can respond adequately to the problems confronting the country. And people say, oh, no, why? You are not, you say you are not APC, you are supporting APC, you are this. I say, no, it's not about that. We have a government that is winding down. A new government is coming. I'm looking beyond Buhari already. I'm looking beyond him. And I'm looking and contextualizing, projecting, seeing a Tinubu as a president, the kind of team he's going to put together. Is he going to wait for another 6 months before he can set up a team? No. He won't behave that way.
How will you say he won't behave that way?
No. Because we have known him. He's been a governor before. Before he became a governor, before he was even sworn, he already has his team.
No, people say that recently when the INEC said, okay, campaign can start, the APC didn't start anything. The candidate was not in the country.
No.
And you saw what the Labour Party did across the country. There were a lot of rallies supporting the Labour Party. And the PDP also did. And that the APC couldn't do anything.
Let me tell you, on October 28th, PDP didn't do anything. They only launched a book of their candidates.
Yeah.
that to me, that's not your commencement of campaign. You only launch a book. That's one. Two, the provisions of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended is the one that stipulates that campaign should start September 28th. Yeah. And it didn't say this is how you should start it. It didn't say you are under compulsion to start on that day. The APC are still working on their strategy and other issues, and they have told us that by October 10th, they are going to start. You see, the point is, the one of OBI you saw, campaigning around the country, for me, that's Jamboree.
No, that's not OBI. I hear it's obedient people, not even Labour Party.
No, I mean OBI, yes. Those who are supporting OBI, they probably all the country. That's a Jamboree. It makes no meaning to me. You know why? What message did you take home from that rally? What message can you tell me?
Strength?
No. What message? What did they tell us that a Labour Party or an OB will give to Nigerians? Rallies, campaigns, and all of that are platforms where candidates of parties running for president or any other position for that matter are able to communicate to the public, to tell us what they have in the kitty. So you don't just do a road show and you tell me, oh, look at the state of OBs everywhere, we are going to take. No, what have you told me? That's noisy noise. As far as I'm concerned, what I expected them to do was to, assemble at a location, have your speakers in the various states, let them tell us what is peculiar about Peter Obi as a candidate. and what they think that Peter Obi can offer Nigerians in the face of what we are presently going through. Now you roll out people on the street, you go straight, you walk all the whole street, you cause traffic jam and everything. Then you go back to your shell. That's end of story. What have you told us? Then you post the picture on social media, you say, look at seas of human hearts. They are supporting us and all of that. Just like ATIKU Abubakar's rally in what do you call it, Bauchi yesterday. The rally we had in Bauchi in 2019 was even heavier than this. Yet APC defeated us in PDP with over 545,000 votes. The difference. He got 209 votes.
So the crowd you gather in a particular place doesn't matter.
Everybody will gather crowd. Everybody will gather crowd. But what matters is what kind of message is resonating from those, convocation that will elicit the interest of the average voter who is sitting down at home watching what you are doing. You are shouting Obi. In my community of Okpala, we don't know whether Labour Party or Peter Obi is contesting. People call me all the time. Come back home, let's come and start campaigning. So the point is, you may have a good material in Peter Obi, you may have a good candidate in him, but this, what they call mob action, mass mobilization and all of that, don't end up in votes. That I can tell you. Particularly when you are going on on the road, on the highway, where people are already populated. You just ram your crowd into them.
The votes come from the villages, the
hinterlands, the rural areas, and all of that. Okay, now you are campaigning in Lagos, for example. You go to Alaba. Alaba is already like a campaign. It's already like a rally ground because you have thousands of people. Or you go to Festac. You see crowd at Agboju, all of that. Then you ram your small crowd into them. Then you start shouting and all that, and you say, Obi, Obi, Obi. Please, I'll be happy if Obi makes a headway. But from what I can read as a political player, TINUBU is the man to beat. Nobody can take away that from him. Because, why am I saying that? The APC has 21 governors.
Yeah.
Governors are platforms for rallying votes. Yeah. You saw what they did in Kaduna, when the governor was just testing his mic. Yeah. You saw what happened?
In Kogi State.
In Kogi. You saw that? You saw the women in Lagos.
In Ibadan.
You saw the one that Slim Falani did in Ibadan, just testing the mic. So, you see, governors are platforms that you can use to rally around people. And when you are not there as a candidate, they are also platforms to campaign on your behalf.
Senatorial.
So when senatorial election, House of Reps, House of Assembly, and all of that. That's why you see when they
down to the unit.
When they say Obi doesn't have structure, those who don't understand say, we are the structure, look at us and all that. No, it goes beyond that. When Obi is not there, who stands in there, who is also interested in his own aspiration and also using the name of Obi to campaign for himself and for Obi, who are them? Labour Party don't have candidates. The one that they have in even Osun election ran away with under 2,000 votes, even when Obi went there to campaign. Yes.
But opinion polls have shown that Obi will win. Have you seen the opinion polls?
I have seen all the opinion polls. Those are lazy opinion polls. When I say lazy, they don't speak scientifically to the issues on ground. Where did you take your representative population, respondents from? What is the population of your respondents?
Yeah.
We have 94.2 million voters. Did you speak to 30.4 million voters, which represent 1/3 of the voter, or did you speak to 20 million voters, which represent 1/4 of the votes? How do you now come to the conclusion that somebody will win? You need to go around. What is the spread of your respondents?
Are they in the city or
in the city or in the rural areas? Are they skilled in one location where you think the man is popular against the other? If for you to tell me today that Obi will win in Jigawa is like taking the biblical camel to pass through the eye of the needle. So you can have population of people who come out to, but when it comes to the election day, every man will answer to his father's name.
When you were spokesperson to ATIKU, with Obi.
Spokesperson to the PDP presidential campaign council.
Yeah, okay.
ATIKU and Obi were candidates.
You had a relationship with ATIKU and Obi then.
Yes, of course.
Now, Obi is seen as somebody who imports, who is a major importer into the country, and that Dangote produces in the country. Between Dangote and Obi, who is more interested in the development of the country?
Of course, it is very instructive. Dangote is an employer of labor.
Yeah. Obi is also an employer of labor.
And a man who helps productivity will naturally help your foreign exchange. Yeah. Because you earn money by producing goods and services that you can export. Yeah. Dangote is doing that. His cement across Africa is a good income spinner for the country. His refinery is going to be another, cash cow, so to speak. You see, Obi is a trader, and he trades in imported goods. So when people talk about Obi, I ask very simple questions. What has been his legacy in Anambra for 8 years? I wanted to come to the conclusion that Anambra became an El Dorado when he governed there for 8 years. But I couldn't locate my hands on that recognition. I had traveled to Anambra State in the last 1 year about 4 times. I did my NYC there. I know the geography of the entire Anambra, and that is the truth. I have gone to villages where in Teje, Otuocha, Umuleri, Aguleri, all those Uga, all those places, Obosi and all that. These are still places that are ravaged by erosion and what have you. What did he do about that? There are still schools that are not wearing good look in Anambra State, post-Obi era. There are still hospitals that are more or less like Shanti, general hospitals, post-Obi era. If Obi did so well, why did Obiano have to collect, go borrowing and all of that to also contend with the infrastructural decay in the state? That's one. Why is Professor Chukuma Soludo? Why did he borrow 100 billion about 2-3 months ago to be able to contend with the infrastructural wellness of the state? Why? I thought that with an OB, with the kind of razzmatazz that is greeting his aspiration and the candidacy, I thought they would have told us that he has done quite a number of all of these things, that there is a 5-star hospital in Anambra, there is a 5-star schools, secondary schools, the primary schools are everywhere, and all of that.
The roads.
Go to Nsugbe, the schools in Nsugbe are rotten. I went there recently because that's the way I did my NYC. I went, So the point is, I have not begrudging him at all. He has the right to contest. He has the right to also enjoy some support from people. That's okay. If he even wins, I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with, and for which I am blaming a lot of our southern brothers who are coming on your TV program or your this thing to come and be telling us some silly things, is for you to say that after President Buhari 8 years, you still want another northerner to serve 8 years. That to me will be an anathema. It will be the beginning of another round of crisis in the country. It will also, puncture whatever peace that you think is existing in this country. It will break down national cohesion, because even the candidate himself has not been able to unify his party. And they call him unifier, and I'm still wondering, I'm still trying to locate where that adjective came from. Because when you keep telling somebody he's a unifier and he's not able to unify his country, his party, then it becomes problematic. So the point is, whether anyone likes it or not, the position taken by APC 14 governors that presidency should go to the south at a time when even the party chairman was rooting for someone in the north, the Senate president. Those governors remain my hero to date, because they are conversant and familiar with the dynamics that factorize Nigerian politics on the basis of North and South divide. And so those governors remain my hero. And that was why the position they took was what gave birth to a TINUBU candidacy. Yeah. And that is the way to go about it. Not you jettisoning the provision of your constitution. If you can do that, that means you can jettison the provision of the Nigerian constitution and do things to suit your whims and caprices as a president. Because in Nigeria, the presidency, after God, the presidency is more powerful than anybody in the world.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. If you are watching us live on the John Mayaki Show, we have here a Southern Presidency advocate, Prince Kassim Afegbua, addressing us on the emerging political realities towards 2023. I want to find out again from you. Nigerians have always complained that they can no longer trust ATIKU. The other day, he promised the Southeast that after his presidency, he was going to support them for presidency. Just 3 days after, or 4 days after, he told Wike, when he was trying to warm himself into him, that he was going to support him for presidency after his own tenure. I mean, at what point are you going to support the Southeast and then support Wike, who's from the South-South? It seems he can't be trusted. I found out from Don Pedro, and he tried to parry the issues. And what do you think?
You see, it's just hawking opportunity. Hawking is like a child who is hawking granuts and looking for those to buy, knowing that his candidacy has become polluted by several factors. Factors of lack of unification of purpose, factors of being a perennial candidate year in, year out, every now and then, factor of being part and parcel of the APC political machinery. You've forgotten that ATIKU was a foundation member of APC. On the basis of zoning, he pulled out of the party in 2012, joined forces with APC at formation, contested the presidential ticket. He came 3rd or 4th, you know, and at the end of the day, contributed financially to defeating PDP in 2015. So when you see people like Wike complaining, it is because they are giving opportunity to defectors, including Yochayu, who defected to APC, who were part and parcel of the process that defeated PDP. They are given opportunity again to come and rub insult on their faces. That's why you see Wike becoming so avuncular in his declarations. And people who don't understand this narrative keep talking about any other thing. And whether you like it or not, the point must be made that I have said it. An Alhaji Atiku Abubakar presidency in 2023 is like a bad sore that will fester over time and will help to kill the body politic of the Nigerian Federation.
Do you see him remaining in PDP if he lost the election?
And let me conclude, because you know we know him to be a political traveler. So he will travel to Dubai and stay there. After 2-3 years, he will come back again. I won't be surprised if after he loses 2023 election, he will go back and in 2027 at 82 or thereabout, he will say he wants to contest again. The thing is in his blood. He has, it's like making a covenant that I must be president at all costs. If it is not in the interest of Almighty God for you to be president, you can force yourself several times, you may not be able to make it. So for me, at this time, a unifier should be the one promoting Southern presidency and play the role of a father figure, a statesman, to help that come to fruition. If you so much believe in unity of the country, he could have as well supported Peter Obi in PDP from the Southeast, or a pious Anyim, and drop his own ambition. The ambition of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar altered the whole permutations within PDP. The whole process was dollarized. And before you say Jack Robinson, see the kind of money that are oozing out from PDP headquarters. They gave money to NWC. They said the 1 billion was given to what is it called, to the chairman from in Lagos. Wike told everybody, and we haven't had deniers from the chairman. You see all manners of profligacy, corruption, and what have you. And yet you want such a process to be the one that will throw up a leadership that can confront the challenges in the country? I said no. It's a some kind of abnegation of intention for anybody to think that with all these revelations coming out from the PDP, from the headquarters, which I like to call Wadata cash and carry Duwadata. Under Secondus, it was Casino Duwadata. Now they've turned it to cash and carry Duwadata. You see, you are paid 28 million to put into members' account. You see, it's an allowance. Yet you have not paid your staff salary. You have not paid the housing allowances in 3 years. The staff have protested on several occasions because you've neglected them. But you are paying people who are big men in their own right, who already have resources. You are paying them 20 million allowance. Do they want to hire Aso Rock to live in, or they want to stay 1 or 2 floors in Transcorp Hilton for 1 year? 28 million as housing allowance. So if PDP is that rich, why can't they just start a program to help the indigent Nigerians? Start a program, indigent Nigerians, or plow back this money into the PDP secretariat. The national secretariat that is being built, for which 27 billion has reportedly been expended on, is still lying there fallow. One single block they didn't add to it. You see, and when you talk as a member of party at times, they'll tell you, you like to talk too much. For God's sake, as an opposition party, you must be able to score yourself as being well before you can say another person is not well. You must be able to pick the specks in your eyes before you start picking other people's specks. But living in that kind of, but by now I expect EFCC to swoop on that party, arrest Dr. Yosha Ayu and other members of his NW, subject them to interrogation because they have flouted the law of the Money Laundering Act and provisions of the law. And let them face the music. If you want to heal this country, you need to take some of these things very seriously. Go to other countries. They don't know whether in London, will you tell me you are an MP because of that you flout the traffic law? You are driving, traffic light will pick you up and you are not going to pay fines. Then you definitely pay, no matter your status. No. This is how to grow country. Not EFCC are read, they say, no, they will think that is a political witch hunt. Is this, is that? What is the meaning of that? That is a party that is trying to throw up a leadership that will cover the country. They are so corrupt and all of that, and yet EFCC is not doing anything about it. ICPC is sitting down there not doing anything about it. How do we move forward in the 21st century Nigeria?
Thank you so very much, Prince Kassim Afegbua. Let's come back to the candidate you want to support. Now, I don't know, what are you going to campaign with? Is it his achievement in Lagos or President Muhammadu Buhari's achievement? What do you think? Nigerians are saying that Buhari...
There are so many things to campaign with. You see, the point is this. I have said it. I'm not a member of APC. I'm supporting TINUBU on the basis that I know he has capacity first to assemble team, a go-getting team. And he also understands the therapy of ideas. Ideas that are utility-driven, that can respond to some of the crises we're having. And not one government can provide all the solutions. But if a government is able to rally around people holistically, spreading your tentacles across the country, the better for the country, particularly a plural country like Nigeria. I've had cause to challenge President Buhari that he's an ethnic jingoist on the basis of the appointments he makes every now and then. And I have been proven right. Now, I'm looking at a TINUBU who, when he ran in Lagos, has put in place a line of succession of persons who have not been found wanting in their discharge of gubernatorial responsibility. You call it Ambode, you call it Fashola, you call it Sanwo-Olu now. They have all done well by the estimations of the public. Lagos is working, so to speak. Now, if you know Lagos before TINUBU and Lagos after TINUBU, you see that there is a remarkable difference in terms of even road infrastructure and other things. Even law. That was why, what is it called? A journalist of the Arise, Rufai Hussein, could be apprehended because he was driving on a bus lane. That means there is law in place. And they didn't look at his status as a public commentator. They took him up and they charged him to court. He was fined and he paid 70,000. For me, he's an ex-convict. That's the implication. He's been convicted of a crime and he has paid a fine in lieu of going to serve 1 or 2 months jail time. That's the truth. So when you have a system like that, you have to give credit to the man who masterminded it. Whether you like, you may not like the face of TINUBU. I am not his, before now I'm not his advocate, I'm not his fan. That's the truth. But this is also a man who fought so voraciously. I use that word, instructively. Voraciously to ensure that there is democracy in Nigeria. The democracy we are enjoying today is part of the efforts, struggles of a TINUBU. When people like ATIKU were hiding and hobnobbing with the government in power. Did you ever read any line of condemnation of ATIKU against Abacha when Abacha was president? So these are all collaborators and co-conspirators of the Nigerian political process. So a TINUBU went on exile, fought battles with other like minds, Fayemi of this world and all of that. And when this democracy came on stream, he returned to the country. So you must naturally give him credit that he, in fact, is one of, if not the arrowhead of this democracy, is one of them. Very dominant one. So you cannot wish him away. And TINUBU has never contested for president. This is the first time. That means the man is strategic, he's also calculative. He provided a platform for other persons, he used him, and now he's using that platform to also pursue his own aspiration. That's strategic thinking. But Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has been contesting since 1992. To date, 31 years ago. Every now and then. If he doesn't meet in this party, he leaves the party. As a VP, he contended with his principal. That means he's a very disloyal person. Because when you are a vice president, you must live within the means of your principal and show loyalty. The name of power and the algorithms of power is loyalty. You have to show loyalty. If he doesn't come to you at this time, don't say it must be you. He pulled out of PDP in 2006 and joined ACN. I believe they called them AC that time. And contested for presidency. He left there again, returned to PDP in 2010. Contested 2011 with President Jonathan. He lost again, he left there and went to APC at formation. He left APC again and came back to this. He is doing circumnavigation in search of political leadership where experience does not count. Where is his experience? What are the attributes that you are attracting? Well, we were working against our own volition in 2019. Some of us. Because I never supported an ATIKU candidacy in pre-convention. I was supporting Tambua, the governor of Sokoto State. When we lost, Tambua came second in Port Harcourt convention. And when he lost, they just had to put us in the campaign of the party. And gradually we say, okay, let us, because before they say, Kassim is always, doing this, he's always doing that. When I told them in Edo, for example, in 2020 that an Obaseki will be a bad product, they didn't listen to me. Today, has he not factionalized the party? As we speak now, there is a legacy PDP list, there is his own list, there are court cases, there are court judgments, there are verdicts here and there. Though it's in confusion. Should that be it? Those who insulted me in 2020 because I didn't support Obaseki have been pressing me in the last 1 year because they have seen the character of Obaseki. That you are in APC, you can fight. You came to PDP that you didn't know how they form it or how they ran it, you are causing fight. So these are the issues. You see, Nigerian politics is politics of lies, dishonesty, subterfuge, subterranean motives and all of that. And once you are unable to play the game the way they wanted you to play it, you become an enemy. And when you interrogate them, they say you ask too many questions. I will not naturally ask questions. I will continue to ask questions. But for 2023, I want a TINUBU, for example, to be the president of Nigeria.
I still want to find out the policies of President Muhammadu Buhari and the actions of the government seems unhelpful to the success of the APC, the campaigns and the success of the APC in the election. Take, for instance, strike.
You see, let me tell you.
The actual strike.
Don't even finish the question. Let me tell you. Every government will come with its own policies.
I agree with you.
President Buhari is not an engaging president. TINUBU is. President Buhari does not exploit the resource of dialogue. TINUBU is. TINUBU does. President Buhari is a man of few words. TINUBU is a man of many words. He can engage the crowd for 1 hour spellbound and discuss intelligently. So I am looking at a TINUBU presidency. I am not going to detain myself with a Buhari presidency. That's the truth, because it's already outgoing. At any rate, whatever be the failure of the Buhari government, the TINUBU government will correct some of them. That's natural. I've already been seeing policy documents, statements, and all of that credited to the TINUBU camp. Have been seeing the idea of delving into abandoned projects and seeing and taking, a leap from there. So if a TINUBU presidency can look into Nigerian abandoned projects, many of them in the country, over 10,000, you see that the economy will pick up, there will be job creation, there will be employment, and quality of life will improve. Now, what is your security architecture post-Buhari? That's what I should be asking myself. What are you going to be telling us differently? What is your economic blueprint post-Buhari? If dollar to naira is 725 today, in 6 months, short term, where your own dollar, where would you want your dollar to be in relation to naira? These are the kind of questions I want to be asking. Those are the kind of questions I'm asking. And those are the kind of questions that they are already discussing, sitting down in a classroom situation to dissect the economy. You need short-term, medium-term, and long-term solutions to Nigerian problem. And you can't solve them 1 day, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. No. But you can make meaningful impact in that. What is even your policy on the environment? Look at River Niger, flooded, and almost cutting north and south into two. What are you going to do? Are you going to dredge it holistically this time? Ajakuta steel that is there, are you going to remove it from there and take it to a river and an ocean site where such steel projects are better? Or you still keep it there to be gulping in undue resources and finances? These are the questions. Aluminium smelting company that is in Ikonabasi, that was privatized under the Obasanjo government for $130 million. Are you going to leave it moribund? These are the questions. So, newspaper printing, production, and all of that people still import. Are you going to leave Iwopin paper mill, Okuiboku paper mill? Are you going to leave them moribund? These are burden projects that when you rejuvenate them, they will create some level of healthy, economic environment for the country. What's your green policy? The green environment. Yeah. That is the new technology. That's the new energy platform. What are you discussing? TINUBU is already thinking about this. That's the truth. That's a blueprint with them. And there are several platforms you can make humongous resources that will take our economy from where it is now to somewhere that is churning news for all of us. What is wrong if you sit Nnamdi Kanu and sit him on the round table, let's discuss? You are the president. You have access to information that Nnamdi Kanu does not have. You want an IPO. You want a country of your own. Why do you want a country of your own? What do you want? Inclusion. Okay, we are going to include you. Let's set the terms. Just like mediation. Then you solve all manners of crisis of bloodletting in the southeast. You sit down and discuss with these people. How did we achieve amnesty project? How did we achieve that? Obasanjo called Sari Dokubo and others to the villa. They had a meeting and all of that. Yar'Adua continued from there and they gave birth to amnesty. And today there's relative peace, so to speak. Except for now that there are renewed stealing of our crude on the high sea. So the point is, the style of the president matters a lot. As a plural country, you need to engage, you need to constructively bargain, you need to collectively engage with the people, you need to dialogue. You need to sit down with people to hear their grievances. If marginalization is a common word on the lips of people, please sit down and do politics of inclusion. Get them, but let them have a sense of belonging. The ownership of the country, let it be holistic among all the different tribes, different tongues in the country. If they are doing a Yoruba nation, you sit down, why are you doing Yoruba nation? There are things you can puncture. Let people see. Do you still need to have primary school under federal government? No. put them in the states and increase the resources. Allow the federal government to devote attention on economy, defense, and foreign policy. Then give other things to the states to contend with. Why must you come and construct the roads in my community, for example, as a federal government? Doing an ombudsman job. No. Allow states to do them. Then the revenue sharing formula, please, for God's sake, alter it so that more will go to the states. If they are not performing, tell their people. We've released 50 billion to the governor. If he's not performing, take him up. These are the issues. And a man like TINUBU has strong political will. Yeah. And that's all you need to do this.
That's good. Before we go, finally, last question. Nigerians are not happy with the present administration. Nigerians are not happy.
Say some Nigerians.
Okay, some Nigerians. Some Nigerians are not happy. I agree with you. I agree with you. But you see, people say, like my guest, I keep referring to my guest, Don Pedro, he was saying that it was TINUBU, the APC presidential candidate, who brought in the present administration, as in who midwifed the Buhari administration. And that because Nigerians are not happy with him, some Nigerians are not happy with him, it may have side effect on his aspiration. Do you think...
You know, Don Pedro is just trying to be clever by half. I don't know where he's coming from. Because I saw him saying that he did a documentary that almost killed him. And all that. Nobody was after his life. These are just grandstanding. You see, the point is he has forgotten that his principal, ATIKU Abubakar, was one of the major financiers of APC and Buhari in 2015. He has forgotten. People have short memories. He did not contest the primary alone. He stayed and made sure that he finished the process. So a new government was formed. He was happy. Go and listen to the statements of ATIKU in 2015. He says the case of PDP is beyond redemption. He said it on video, captured on camera. You know? And even one of his spokesmen, Gino Melaye, also said that. That when he say, why I say PDP say to Fiakwa? And the campaign in Kogi. So when you say PDP to Fiakwa, no problem. And that is why we are saying that it should be PDP to Fiakwa now. Because the algorithms of power within the PDP is skewed against the South that should ordinarily be the next successor to ASU.
Do you see the North ganging up against the Southern candidacy?
They will not gang up because 14 governors of the APC were the ones who helped TINUBU to get the ticket. You know, that is the truth. They understand the issues. Enlightened minds from the North. You must give them credit. You know? And so, when people talk about ganging up, I keep asking questions. What is ganging up? There are peculiar issues among the states. At another platform, I'm going to dissect all the peculiar issues among the states. Why you see why they cannot support an ATIKU presidency. There are peculiar issues.
Wow, quite interesting time with you, Honorable Kassim Afegbua. You don't use honorable, you prefer to use Prince.
No. Yes.
We'll find time to do a documentary on the personality of Prince Kassim Afegbua. Thank you so very much for those of you watching us on the John Mayaki Show. We sincerely appreciate all of you. This is the much we can take for today. Until we come your way again, bye for now.
Hey.